Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Conflict Archive. We left Napoleonic wars last time and across Europe. Napoleon's triumphs send shockwaves through courts and capitals. Today, we pick up where we left off. Dawn breaks over a continent, gripped by panic and uncertainty. Warships crowd the channel like vultures, waiting for their moment to strike. Armies march through the mist, their footsteps a harbinger of chaos, a grim reminder of the violence that lies ahead. The first shots echo across fields already scarred by fear and loss. This uneasy calm is shattered, and we must face the reality that Europe is now at war, caught in a cycle of conflict that seems unending.
That panic isn't just noise, Aurelius. It's a collective trauma that runs deep. The fragile peace we've managed to hold for the past year is starting to crumble as Britain accuses France of breaking promises. When the declaration of war hits, it's more than just a military clash. It's a rupture in the core of Europe, tearing apart families and friendships. We have to remember, it's real people who will suffer the consequences of these decisions.
As the Channel solidifies into a fortress, the Royal Navy effectively blockades every French port, tightening their grip. Meanwhile, French soldiers in Boulogne are busy preparing their invasion barges, bristling with anticipation. The crossing, however, never takes place, yet the threat hangs in the air, palpable and unsettling. We see these power plays unfold time and again. Empires test each other's resolve, using intimidation as their weapon of choice, and the world watches, waiting for the next move.
Intimidation or desperation? The threat keeps Britain on edge, but it's more than just fear. Citizens peer through the fog, anxious for the enemy's approach, yet dreading the harsh reality of war. Families brace for impact as the machinery of conflict grinds into motion. The first major clashes erupt in Hanover, reminding us that the cost of war isn't just strategic. It's deeply human, affecting lives, dreams, and futures in ways we can hardly imagine.
Yes, chaos reigns in Hanover. Russian and British troops clash with French columns in brutal confusion. The ground turns to mud beneath their feet, heavy with the weight of history. Muskets crack, and smoke fills the air, creating a haze that obscures the battlefield. It's a scene of devastation, reminiscent of ancient battles fought for the same reasons: power, territory, and influence. We witness the relentless cycle of conflict, where ambition leads to destruction, and the lessons of the past seem all but forgotten.
And in this chaos, individual lives are shattered. A British drummer boy, barely out of his teens, falls, and his blood soaks the earth beneath him. These aren't just soldiers. They're sons and brothers, caught in a conflict driven by ambition and greed. Civilians flee, clutching their meager belongings, terrified and desperate. What future awaits them in this turmoil? The human cost is staggering, and it's hard to fathom how many dreams are lost in the wake of such violence.
Civilians are collateral damage, yes, but the war machinery is relentless. Napoleon's Grande Armée marches east, ready for more conquests. By 1805, the Third Coalition forms against him. He's not just a general. He is a force of nature, reshaping Europe's landscape in ways we can hardly fathom. As towns fall and borders shift, we see the true cost of ambition. This isn't just a battle for territory. It's a struggle for the very soul of nations.
A force of nature? That's one way to phrase it. But let's not overlook the panic spreading through Vienna. The city's ancient walls, once proud symbols of strength, now feel so fragile against Napoleon's advancing legions. People are pouring through the gates, refugees with carts piled high, their eyes wide with terror. Families are torn apart, and the streets are filled with cries of fear and uncertainty. This isn't just a battle. It's a crisis of civilization, affecting every soul here.
Yes, the bells ring in Vienna, their sound merging with the distant roar of cannons. We find the old order under siege, with ancient empires that took centuries to build crumbling in mere months. In Austerlitz, Napoleon's cunning will be on full display. He's a master at exploiting weaknesses, finding cracks in defenses that others might overlook. This chaos is a reminder that even the mightiest can fall quickly. We watch as history unfolds, revealing the fragility of power.
Exploit? It's more than that. On December 2nd, Napoleon lures the Allies into a trap. His victory at Austerlitz is a masterclass in deception. But the total victory comes at a steep price, one that's paid in tears. Families are left shattered, children without parents, and the aftermath reveals the true cost of ambition. It's a nightmare of loss, where the glory of battle fades in the face of broken lives. No one truly wins when the human cost is so high.
A nightmare, yes, but also a demonstration of tactical brilliance. The ground shakes violently with cannon fire as Napoleon's forces roll over the Allies with ruthless efficiency. The stench of death hangs thick in the air, mingling with acrid smoke from the battle. This victory is total, reshaping alliances across Europe and instilling deep fear in his enemies. We see how swiftly the balance of power shifts. History teaches us that such moments can define the fate of nations for generations.
But at what cost? The Royal Navy deals its own blow at Trafalgar, where Admiral Nelson faces off against the combined French and Spanish navies. It's a brutal fight, with ships tearing apart and men fighting for their lives. The loss of life is staggering. Each sailor has a story, a family waiting for them back home. The war isn't just a game of strategy. It's personal. Its impact resonates deeply, echoing in the hearts of those left behind.
Across Europe, the shockwaves from Napoleon's triumphs ripple through courts and capitals with startling intensity. Austria, facing the weight of humiliation, feels compelled to sue for peace. Vast territories slip through its fingers, and the Holy Roman Empire begins to unravel like a frayed tapestry. This turmoil doesn't just fade away. It stirs a fierce desire for revenge among the nations. We can almost feel the tension building, setting the stage for future conflicts that will reshape the continent.
That desire for revenge is so real, Aurelius. The French requisitioning leaves towns starving and economies in ruins. Resentment festers in every occupied territory. Families are struggling just to survive the harsh winter. Parents can't feed their children, while the shadow of war looms ever larger, threatening to swallow any hope they have left. It's heartbreaking to see how deep this crisis runs, affecting not just lives, but entire communities.
The old world has been set alight, and we find ourselves on the brink of chaos. Napoleon's ambitions will only grow, especially with Prussia looming ahead like a storm. The struggle is set to intensify, and Europe braces for what comes next. History will remember these moments not just for the battles fought, but for the lives shattered in their wake. We'll witness alliances forged and broken, and the true cost of power will be measured in grief.
That's where we leave it this time. Napoleonic Wars continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Conflict Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.